It doesn't like that clip, though.
I'd like to call this Lancaster Central School District Board of Education meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge to the flag and remain standing for a moment of silent reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight we stand and remember Beverly Luby, an account clerk typist from 1967 to 1989, who passed away on November 29, 2017. Thank you, everyone. So 4.0 presentation tonight. We have a presentation on the Z-Space experience, which was a request from the Board of Education during our summer retreat. That will be presented by Mrs. Jill Santoro, but she's in the computer lab, so we are going to have a field trip, and we'll follow Mr. Marchioli.
Z-Space in the computer hub, and I'm here just to show you a little bit about virtual reality. And here is a clip from The Good Doctor. Anyone watch it here?
I do.
Yeah? I do. Just shows a little bit.
Remove the interior leaflet of the valve and reattach it.
No, you can't. It's the exact replica of the kid's heart. There's no anchor point to reattach it. That for your idea is still terrible.
Okay. Got the rest of it?
We're dealing with a huge septum, 25 millimeters. What would that number be in a healthy kid?
About 8.
If we go anywhere near that number, we won't have enough support for the valve. But let's say we took that down to 20.
And that won't be enough to relieve the outflow obstruction?
Okay. 18.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just a little bit about Z-Space. You can see from a video clip that it's been used in the medical field. Even though that was just a TV show, it's actually being used in like different places around the world. Like NASA's been using it, still in the hospitals, and a bunch of stuff like that. What virtual reality is, it basically just transforms the world around you, and you put on these goggles or glasses, and everything turns 3D, and you can actually grab stuff. On here, you're going to be using the pens in that. It's pretty cool. And this is the pen you're going to be using on there. The button to the right is just going to be used to spin whatever you're looking at around. The button in the middle is just basically like a mouse on a computer. You're just going to use it to click different things. That's how you're going to access your tools. And the button to the left is just going to be able to, you're going to be able to shift whatever you're looking at left and right and up and down. And these are the glasses. The driver glasses are the ones that you guys are going to be using, who's on the actual Z-Space devices. These are the ones that transform the computer 3D, and then everything's going to start popping out at you. And these are the passenger glasses. You're still going to be able to view the screen, and the kids next to you are going to help you with it. And it turns it 3D, but nothing's gonna pop out at you actually. And so the first thing I want you to do is put on your glasses. Grab the pen. Once you start pointing at it, you'll see a little bit a line. And you're just gonna start. You can start grabbing the different chess pieces, and there's cameras there like this, and you can look around.
Oh, you can relate to it.
It's the big circle. Yeah, that's the one that you're using. So if you go fast, like they're all shut.
Does everyone see the butterfly on their screen? You're just gonna drag it into the blue circle, and it's gonna open up a whole new window for you. And once you're home, you're gonna grab it. It looks like a robot arm, and you're gonna grab it and drop it into the blue circle again.
I can't grab it.
You lift the heart.
Hands aren't steady.
Oh, here, let's leave this one. And then if you move the camera,
You guys want to go home again?
circle,
Bottom left, home button.
you can like move it into the heart.
And the next thing we're gonna do is use the blueprint. You're just gonna drag that into the blue circle also. This is what it looks like. Red circle.
I'm actually curious what you think about
If I can show you one more. So go to home and then you put the Yep.
Oh, you get it back?
So this yeah, shows you what you can do.
it holds on. Okay, but we'll just swap off every like 5 minutes. Recording. Don't.
And then I was able to go up and down and see the blueprint on my computer.
Probably just sit down and stuff because I don't really know if it's real.
The last thing I want you guys to do is go home to bed, and then you're gonna click on the heart and drag it into the blue circle. Thank you guys for your attendance today, and thank you for allowing us to have this tool in our classes, man. It really helps us out, and it's pretty fun. So thank you.
So it doesn't
I had a
require.
chance to see this about a year and a half ago. They brought this big bus in, and it had all of these systems inside the bus, so you went in and you played with it for a little while. The advantage to having the separate stations is that it can go to the elementary schools, and it's actually being used at William Street and Como Park right now. They're using it for science instruction. They're using it to drill down to the very basic science, all the way up to advanced anatomy, which is using the same version. They asked us to upgrade the version to what's used in a hospital. So our students are actually experiencing some actual realistic use of this machine. And as you saw, it used to be CAD machines would be able to make things fly, and this is so much bigger than a CAD machine even. So this is great material for K all the way through 12. So we thank you for allowing us to fund this kind of a project. This is great. This is great. It's just the world the way it's going to be in maybe 2 months.
Okay, lastly, I just want to thank Mr. Santoro and all the people involved, and obviously to thank how this building is. It's all about students, and the students have put together this and are your personal assistants, and I love that part about it. So I thank them. I want to give them a round of applause.
From the board, I'd like to thank Mrs. Santoro and Dr. Perini, the whole administrative staff, and especially the students, because it's nice to have this equipment, and we're lucky to have this. But we fully support this, but it's the students that bring this to life. And we can buy all this equipment, and if students don't learn it and use it and embrace it, it's worthless, right? So I'd like to thank my Jake Grayson here for showing me, and all the other students for coming out this evening and educating us. We're lucky to be here, and we're lucky to have you, and thank you very much.
Okay, so again, I'd like to thank Jill Santoro and the administrators and teachers and all of the students who came tonight to show us and give us the demonstration of the Z-Space experience, which was very, very cool. And again, we're lucky to have all the equipment, the teachers, the administrators to support this sort of initiative, but very lucky to have the students who bring it to life. So thank you again. 5.0 correspondence. Do we have any correspondence from any board members to speak of? Okay, thank you. 6.0, approval of minutes. 6.1, could I have a motion to approve the regular session minutes from our November 6th meeting?
So moved.
Any questions or comments?
I have a comment, please.
Okay.
2 things on the minutes. I think it's page 6. Yeah, page 6. It's just 2 little technicalities, but things that should be noted in minutes. First one, when we have discussion on anything, I think that needs to be noted. So for example, the very first one on page 6, do you guys have it printed out or no? Or if you have your computers. On page 6, when we discuss the Superintendent's Association Annual Classic Achievement Dinner, there was a discussion on that topic, but it's not noted. Like, I don't think we have to have a lengthy summary of what we talked about, but I think it needs to be noted that there was discussion. There's nothing there. I think it just needs to be noted that something was said. And secondly, on the same page, 2 down, I think it also needs to be noted, this was the Cold War Veterans exemption, and I abstained for obviously a conflict of interest, being that my husband is a veteran, but anyone looking at this wouldn't know that. So I think it needs to be noted that there's a reason for me abstaining from this vote other than just abstaining. I think it just needs to be more detailed. Just in the future, we look at this and we're not going to remember exactly what happened, and that's the point of minutes. So if we could just add those few details, that's all.
Okay, and that's why we check them over, and I'll make a note to Mrs. Janik as well, perhaps just to have some more anecdotal information on it.
Do you want these revised at any, or just for future?
No, just for the future.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. 7.0, items from staff organizations. Anyone from the Lancaster Administrative and Supervisory Association?
Yes, hi, I'm Rhiannon Lasso. We would like to wish you all happy and peaceful holiday season. We'd also like to thank the students at the high school for decorating our building so beautifully. It definitely puts us in the Christmas spirit, and I hope it does for you too. So happy holidays.
Thank you. Anyone from the Lancaster Central Teachers Association?
First of all, we'd like to congratulate all our student athletes on a successful fall season, and they represented themselves, the district, and their families, their class, sportsmanship and pride. Secondly, the LCTA is honored to have 25 members on Veterans Day for the local veterans dinner at the Health Club. We're very happy to have our teachers on their day off, so we're going to do that. This fall, what we have going is we will have facilities provided to the shop for the blanket for Boys and Girls Club, which again is talked about the LSAT on December 16th. And we also have 35 members going to St. Louis Mission on December 16th to help package and distribute food and donations for needy folks. Finally, we would like to wish you all happy holidays.
Thank you. Good stuff. Thank you. The Lancaster Association of Service Personnel and the Lancaster Association of Substitute Teachers. Okay. 8.0, board reports. Does anyone from the board have anything they'd like to report on?
I hate to disappoint, but it was a slow month, and I have nothing to report other than I just want to give a shout out to our varsity football team. 98 years, and it's pretty impressive, and I'm going to just speak on behalf of the alum. We are extremely proud of you. The community is extremely proud of you, and as we say here in Buffalo, better luck next year, but what an exciting season. So congrats to the coaches and to the players.
I'll just go through a few things. November 18th, I had the pleasure to attend STEAM Fest here at the high school, which, if you're not aware, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. They had a great number of exhibits, not only in the gymnasium, but also the cafeteria was full. Both my kids, well, actually one of my kids, one of them had a hair appointment, so she was bummed to miss out. But so many great opportunities and teachers and students sharing some of their exhibits and ways that we can connect, and we just saw that, I think, with the Z-Space. Our own Mr. Kanaski was there helping kids with straw rockets and that kind of stuff, and it's great when you get the kids at an early age excited about these opportunities, and so kudos to the people who were there and the teachers and all who supported, and everyone who came to that as well. So I also did attend the varsity football game, so kudos to the varsity football team, as well as the coaches, volunteers and adults who put their time and energy into our kids, and not just the football team, but to many athletes and student athletes and the adults who sacrifice a lot of their time to make those opportunities available to our kids here. So congratulations to all of them. I also had the opportunity on the 28th to attend the 4th grade chorus at William Street, to which my daughter is a part. And if you haven't been, we're in smack dab in the middle of the musical programs and holiday activities. I also attended the jazz ensemble, wind ensemble, and girls chorus last week Thursday at the middle school. And if you have any chance to take part in any of these activities, that the schedule is almost a nightly occurrence throughout the district. And if you have a chance to see any of our kids performing and showing their musical talents, it's amazing to see the growth from one age to the next. I can remember my daughter in 4th grade, that when she brought her viola home, I thought, oh God, this is going to be a painful experience for all of us when she practices. So, but to watch those kids kind of progress and become, proficient at their skills and only continue here at the high school, it's a testament to those kids and the parents who sacrifice and the adults who make sure that those opportunities are plentiful for all of our kids here. So if you have any free moments or evenings and want to stop at those events, I encourage you to do that as well. So thanks.
I just want to quickly, I know we had someone come in and talk about the student-led parent-teacher conferences, so I got to experience my first with my oldest, 5th grade, William Street. So it was awesome. It was pretty neat to sort of her take us through her work instead of the other way around. And again, we got to experience it here just as an example of it, but to see it happen and talk about sort of the things that she's going to work on, how she's doing well, opportunities to improve, was pretty cool. So then she argued with me the next day. She did her homework. It was wrong. I told her it was wrong. She told me it wasn't. So then we had some things we had to square up there. But the parent-teacher conference was amazing. So I just wanted, yeah. So it was incredible. So what an experience. I love the idea of that and prepping them not just for school but for the future and be able to present themselves and their portfolios is pretty cool. I was right. But I'm never right in my house no matter what, so that doesn't matter.
Anyone else? Okay. I would like to say that I too attended the football game, and congratulations to those young men and all the students that supported them and people from the community and parents. It was nice to see that rallying of support, and though we came up short, it was a great fall season. Prior to that, I went to the fall sports banquet, and we sat here for a while and watched all of the coaches beam about their athletes and their accomplishments. But what I was struck by was the amount of support that athletic teams give to one another here in Lancaster. One of the things referenced was many of the football players who I've seen at volleyball games, and I saw some at the field hockey game. Soccer players will come and attend other events, other games that their classmates are participating in and fully support them. The football players even went to a cheerleading competition and supported the girls there, which to me just really struck me as the culture of young people is very supportive and much more mature. I was a football player when I was in high school, and I was never smart enough nor thoughtful enough to extend support to my classmates. I was always one sport minded and lived in my own little world, and that's, I think, the maturation of young people. And so I was quite proud to hear of all their accomplishments, but also to see that the way they engage with one another and support one another. Coach after coach after coach came up and supported the other teams as well. So a very proud moment for me as a parent, but also as a board member here in Lancaster to see such fine young people in action. And then lastly, I have to mention that coach after coach after coach mentioned and gave a shout out to a fellow board member, Mr. Mike Sage, for all of his support and tweeting and taking video of different events and showcasing and throwing support to all of our athletic teams. So hats off to you, Mr. Sage. With that, I will turn it over to Dr. Valley, the 9.0 Superintendent's Administrative Report.
I'll just mention a couple of things. I too was caught in the 4.5-hour traffic on the way home from the football game. Anyone else get caught in that? But fantastic season, and congratulations to all our athletes. I'm mentioning that because we've undoubtedly had an unprecedented amount of success in the athletic fields this fall, and it's nice to see that translate. A lot of times that we don't get to see that. So in the last couple of weeks, I just wanted to mention a couple of people who have signed scholarships to local universities, and it's nice to see, the great things that are happening, and all the things mentioned here today will also translate into money for families and for young people to further pursue their education. Laura Zimmerman, Edinburgh University, women's lacrosse. Jenna Patterson, Niagara University, women's lacrosse. Julia Karowski, Colgate University, women's volleyball. Brett Beto, University of Tampa, men's lacrosse. Bryce Benham, Hobart, men's lacrosse. Carlo DiRenzo. I know his older sister, so I should be able to pronounce his name. St. Bonaventure men's lacrosse. Andrew Hersey, St. Bonaventure men's lacrosse. Ben Mazer, St. Bonaventure men's lacrosse. Tom Bednarski, Niagara University men's baseball. Max Giordano, my Z-Space Techspert, Niagara University men's baseball. Alex Tamburi, West Virginia men's baseball. A lot of real great things there, and if you Google any of those schools and look at the price tags of those things, it's pretty awesome. Also I'd like to recognize and thank Mr. Marchioli. Last Friday he had he and his group hosted the Western Europe Principals Association for their monthly meeting. Mrs. Santoro presented on the Techsperts program, providing history as well as the project development and support provided by the group. Techsperts were also in attendance and spoke to the gathering of Western New York administrators with poise and knowledge. This program is yet another example of a very large high school providing meaningful experiences for smaller groups of students, in this case for students with a special interest in technology. So thank you to Mr. Marchioli for reaching and sharing all the great things that are going on in Lancaster High School. And finally, speaking of technology, Marie Perini mentioned some of the things that are going on, but just recently, last Thursday or Friday, she had an article published, State Education Department, that sort of tracked the last 7 or 8 years of the history here in Lancaster with regard to technology. Thank you for all the work that she did and so many others, teachers and administrators and support staff bringing technology in meaningful ways to our school district. But also thanks for writing the article and highlighting us in that and putting the spotlight on us in that special way. So thank you to her. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Dowley. 10.0 old business. Does anyone have any old business they'd like to bring up? 11.0 new business. 11.1 personnel items. 11.1.1, could I have a motion to accept the personnel changes?
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? So moved. 11.2 education items. 11.2.1, could I have a motion to accept the Committee on Special Education's report?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? So moved. 11.2.2, could I have a motion to accept the Committee on Preschool Special Education's report?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? So moved. 12.0, business and financial items. 12.1, could I have a motion to accept the financial items as written?
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? So moved. 12.2 is a policy adoption of 7240 student records, the access and challenge of those. Could I have a motion to accept the policy?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments on that policy? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? So moved. 12.3 and 12.4, or 12.3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. 12.3 through 9, no, through 8 are for information only. So we have 5640, smoking and tobacco use, 7320, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, and other substances, 7520, accidents and medical emergencies, 3125, the website accessibility, 5660, the school food service program, lunch and breakfast, and 7670, to process complaints and selection and board appointment of impartial hearing officers. Those will be for a future vote. 12.9 is an agreement with an accompanist, Peter Gonciars. Could I have a motion to accept the agreement?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. 12.10 is also an agreement with Sarah Meredith, an accompanist. Could I have a motion to accept that agreement?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. 12.11, could I have a motion to accept the surplus equipment report?
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? So moved. 12.12, the change orders. Could I have a motion to accept those?
So moved. Second.
If there are any questions or comments, we have Joe and Steve here. Okay, without any questions or comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. 12.13 is, could I have a motion to accept a donation from LEAF, and that's over a $5,000 donation for the mini grants they fund.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments there? I would just like to make a comment thanking LEAF for their support. Many of these mini grants really go to move us forward here in our Lancaster schools. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. 12.14, could I have a motion to accept the food service operating reports for October 2017?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. 12.15, could I have a motion to accept the girls' hockey agreement?
So moved.
Okay. Yep, questions or comments? This is not a new agreement. Simply the numbers of participants from the different schools have changed, but the commitments on each school's part has not changed. But since the numbers have changed, we have to bring it up for a vote. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So moved. 12.16 is the district-wide safety plan. Could I have a motion to accept that?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? So moved. 12.17, tax certiorari at 4893 Transit Road. Could I have a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? So moved. 13.0, public hearing. At this time for this evening, we have one speaker, Mr. Rick Foley.
Rick Foley, 40 Deer Path. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me up? It's not loud enough. Okay. Way back in 2004, one of the board goals was to improve district-wide communication. So the district conducted a community survey. And one of the questions on the survey was, what are your current and preferred sources of information about Lancaster schools? By far, the number one answer was the district newsletter. Now, back then, the district was mailing out 5 publications of Your Lancaster Schools newsletter each year. And since then, the number of publications has decreased to 2 per year, which has been the case for the last 8 years. Now, I can see the justification for this. The use of the internet and the amount of information on the district website has increased greatly since 2004. But if the same survey was conducted today, I believe the district would still be, the district newsletter would still be one of the primary sources of information the public gets about Lancaster schools, especially among households without children. Just because a household may not have children does not mean there's no interest in reading about the many great things that are happening in our schools. But I don't think enough of that information is getting out to the public. The district should showcase more of the accomplishments of students, the curriculum, the programs, current and future construction projects. We have many outstanding teachers in this district. Why not feature a teacher in each newsletter? Now, I know there's presentations at almost every board meeting in the beginning regarding programs. We just saw one about whatever that was called, whatever. I forgot it already.
It was the Z.
That's why we need a
Z-Space. Yeah, Z-Space.
Z-Space. Incredible. But the problem is, how is that information going to get to the public, the general public, if they don't watch a taped board meeting? if the Lancaster Bee doesn't publish it. So I would like to see the district consider issuing 3 publications of your Lancaster schools instead of 2. And if not that, maybe consider increasing the volume of articles in each publication, or increasing the number of pages in each newsletter. The more information the public has about the great things going on in the schools, the more community support you will have. Thank you very much, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Mr. Foley. Happy holidays to you as well. Okay, 14.0 future presentations. We have none scheduled at this time. 15.0 is an executive session to discuss the superintendent's mid-year evaluation. Could I have a motion to go into executive session? Second. Okay, so at this point, we will go into executive session. The meeting is effectively over. So from the Board of Education, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday season with their families. And our next board meeting will be January 8th, 2018 at John A. Sholey Elementary School at 7 p.m. Thank you, everyone.